Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about the week that was in pro wrestling, starting off with Monday Night Raw, NWA Power, and finishing up with AEW Dynamite. A very mixed bag of a week, as I'll say. We're coming up on All In, which should be a very, very fun show. But, sit back, relax, and let's get into this one. So we start off with Monday Night Raw. We start off with a Randy Orton promo. A SmackDown guy. What brand split? I don't know. I'm kidding. They got a good reason for this match coming up. He says he wants to soak this in because it's been a minute. Welcome to Monday Night Raw. I'm sorry. I hate it when guys start off promos like that. Welcome to Monday Night Raw. We know where we are. You don't have to introduce the show. Anyway, that's just my take. Anyway, next time I say those words, it's going to be as a 15-time champ. And that's what it's all about. My match with Gunther is going to be for the title. And all it would be for. And that's all I planned it on being for. But last week, Gunther had to make it personal by including my family. But then I took my opportunity and I hit the RKO. This, of course, brings out Gunther right away. He gets on the microphone. He says, the only thing I need you to do and everyone else here to do is shut up and listen to me. He goes through a couple of attempts at that because the crowd is just booing him. Anyway, then Gunther asked Randy Orton, do you know what you're celebrating for? You hit me with an RKO. Go ahead, celebrate. It's the only celebrating you're going to be doing. The only thing you achieved was making this match very, very personal. What? Didn't Randy say that about you? What's going on here? I don't know. Gunther continues, and tonight you're just verbalizing support for him. And you're just hyping him up to see another RKO. Well, that's not happening again. And Randy Orton retorts, you're going to see how dangerous the RKO is in Berlin. I'm going to leave you a bloody mess. Gunther replies, very good and underachieving one-trick pony. Wow, Gunther with them fighting words. Randy Orton replies, we're going to be 8 hours in the air, flying to Berlin, and I'm just going to when we get there, I'm going to shove my boot up your ass. So Gunther, they both drop their microphones. Gunther then lays out the World Heavyweight title before Randy Orton, a kind of, cross that line, see what happens. Ludwig Kaiser then comes from behind Randy Orton, tries to, fight Randy Orton. Randy Orton fights back, tosses him to the outside. He and Gunther then brawl for a little bit before Kaiser gets back in, hits Randy with the chop block, and both of them just beat him down until they're both standing over a prone Randy Orton. Yeah, that match is going to be interesting, man. I can't wait for it. This feud has been very, very interesting as well. So then we cut to backstage with a Sheamus interview. Interviewer asks Sheamus about his hand. He says, see this hand? Pete Dunne, you smashed it. But tonight will be my retribution on Kaiser. because still got some tricks up my sleeve. So actually, it's not against Kaiser. It's against this next match. We get Sheamus versus Pete Dunne, and it was a pretty gosh darn good match. Every time Sheamus went for something big, Pete Dunne had a counter for it, including the 10 beats of the Bowery, in which he just snaps his fingers. I hope you heard that. That one hurt. Yeah, this match was awesome. But, of course, then at one point, Pete Dunne puts Sheamus's hurt hand into the, turnbuckle, the connecting piece between the turnbuckle and the ring post, and just drop kicks it. That looked like it hurt. Pete Dunne then blocking a bro kick, which don't think I've seen that before. Then Sheamus with the surprise bro kick for the win. Definitely a surprise ending, but I don't think this feud is going to be over for a little while. And yeah, it's nice to see Pete Dunne on TV. It was definitely a fine match. I've definitely seen Pete Dunne have better, but it was definitely interesting. We then go backstage. We see the New Day and Odyssey Jones. Odyssey and Kofi are hyped up. Kofi's Xavier Woods just kind of there. Then Odyssey turns to Xavier Woods. He says, "Look, I got the win for the New Day last week. Cross got in the way. That's what he does." Woods then says to Kofi, he says, "I wish you talked to me about bringing in Odyssey." Kofi then says to Woods, "Look, this isn't about replacing Big E. You remember when we first started out, we got a lot of hate. Then we overcame it. He's in the same boat right now." Then Woods just kind of relaxes a little. He says, "Yeah, you're right." And then, Odyssey gets in. He and Kofi walk off. Then Woods just kind of standing there like, okay. So, Woods is definitely not all in, but he's getting there. Although I do kind of hope for a heel turn. We then get a recap video of the events of Fanatics Fest, which happened pretty much all week. It is sponsored by Fanatics, event that happened over at the Javits Center, where in New York, where usually Comic-Con is. We see Rhea Ripley making her entrance with a couple little girls, which was very, very nice. Saw Tom Brady interacting with the WWE Universe. It was definitely a very cool thing. So that's definitely cool. Then we get this weird Braun Breaker vignette, and he's just kind of like this, kind of in your face and intense, which I do like from Braun Breaker. He's getting ready for his own thing. Just wait until what he's getting ready for. So then we get a recap of the Ivy Nile Maxine Dupree situation, in which Ivy was trying to talk Maxine into coming into American Alpha, and then Maxine said no. So Ivy, during a match between American Alpha and Alpha Academy, attacked her. Then we see backstage Ivy Nile. She's warming up, getting ready to go. Chad Gable and the Creeds walk in. He says, "Look, we've got our new family here now. And Ivy, I just want to officially welcome you to the team." So Ivy Nile with the Creeds and Chad Gable makes sense. Then Ivy says, look, we gave Maxine a chance, but I'm the real deal. Alpha Academy failed, and now we've gone past them, and we need to focus on the Wyatt Six. We'll get to that in a few minutes, but yeah, Ivy Nile in American Made definitely makes sense. Speaking of, we now get our first women's match of the evening, as it's Maxine Dupri taking on Ivy Nile, and Maxine pretty much jumps Ivy Nile right from the start and just stomps a mud hole in her. Then Ivy takes advantage, and then the lights start going out. Maxine and Alpha Academy bail. Then we see coming out of the smoke Abby the Witch, or apparently it's Sister Abigail now, so that's interesting. Appears behind Ivy Nile. Gable and the Creeds get between Ivy and Nikki Cross. Let's call her who she is. But then the other members of the Wyatt Six come out. It's Rowan, it's Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis. They're on the apron. Then we see Abigail jump on to Chad Gable. Rest of the Wyatt Six take out the rest of the Alpha Academy, American Made. Then out of the smoke comes Uncle Howdy, grabs Chad Gable, Sister Abigail to end the segment. I am a little sad that match got, cut really, really short, because I'm wondering how good Maxine got with her time, because I think she is getting a little better. I would like to see her take out her rival, but I'm okay with the Wyatt Six coming in and kicking some butt. Then we see Punk backstage. He's heading to the ring for a promo later on. We'll get to that. I don't want to spoil anything, but that was weird. Then we get a kind of vignette promo from the Terror Twins, aka Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, where they pretty much say, look, the new lame version of Judgment Day tried to take us out, but we stood tall while you ran. In that Bash of Berlin, there's going to be nowhere to run or hide. Your punishment is coming. And Liv, you've become something you've hated. A discount Rhea Ripley. And oh boy, yeah, that match is going to be interesting. That's for sure. And honestly, little thing, WWE, let's revamp the Mixed Match Challenge. I liked that stuff. So then we see CM Punk come out. He's come out for a promo, and he's got something around his neck. He's got a big old leather strap. Punk then says, we got a lot to get through tonight. First, congratulations to the Stanley Cup winning Florida Panthers. Over the last 24-hour week, I didn't get much sleep. I got some big news to share with you. But first, I want to tell you a story. Story time with CM Punk, baby? Doesn't roll off the tongue. Anyway. So this weekend, I was at Fanatics Fest. Again, making that canon. I kind of like that. Anyway. I was asked by a fan about my hot streak in WWE. And the reason for that is because of all of you nutty fans. And it's because of you. I met a lot of fans at Fanatics Fest. Met a cancer survivor who said the source of my strength to go on was me. Met another fan that said he flew 15 hours just to see me. And all of this means the world to me and everyone in the back. Just wanted to say how much I missed you the last 10 years. So, trying to connect with fans, that's always good. And using a real event to do that. I'll give CM Punk a little credit with that. That was good. And here comes the big news. Oh, and then this abomination. He says, it's fans like you who drive me because of all the love. I'm the Taylor Swift for men. Punk? No, you're really not. I'm sorry, I like you, Punk. You were one of my favorite wrestlers for a while, but good lord, that was not it. No, you do not compare yourself to Taylor Swift. I'm not even the biggest Taylor Swift fan, but I know to respect her. You are... No, that was not it. And then before Punk can continue, out comes Drew McIntyre. No, he mentions Drew McIntyre. He hates me. He got the win at SummerSlam. He wants nothing more to do with me. But he made it personal. He's obsessed with me. Which brings me to my news. The biggest hater, also the biggest fan, made my bracelet. And at Bash in Berlin, we're going to have a strap match where the winner has to touch all 4 corners. As soon as I heard that, I facepalmed. I love a good strap match. Go back to Ricky Starks versus Bryan Danielson on Collision. Like, I want to say it was a year ago. That was good. Because it wasn't the touch 4 corners match. Now, obviously, there's a way to do that good. But WWE lately has not done it really good. And I don't know. I'm not excited for that kind of stipulation. If you're gonna have a strap match, just have the strap match. Don't make it essentially Red Rover. It's God. Anyway, Punk continues. I'm gonna get my property back. I'm gonna leave Drew laying. This brings out Drew McIntyre, who says, I've been thinking all week what I want to do to you. I've had a fantasy of violence. But you're challenging me to a strap match? Did you start drinking? Ooh, that's a shot. Obviously, I cannot wait a week. Why don't we give these kind people a teaser of what's going on in the pay-per-view for next week? All you gotta do is lose the strap and let's go. Punk then says, how about instead of just a teaser, we give them the full show? He then goes right in Drew's face. I'll give you the strap, but you have to give me back my bracelet. And then Drew gets an insidious grin, says, no, you're a liar, a hypocrite, there's no chance. Your bracelet will be so much safer here. And he does kind of play with it. Punk then replies, you won't be safe when it comes to this. It's you it's not me that's attached to you. It's you that's going to be attached to me. God, this was such an awkward promo. Like, what it feels like. It feels like someone my age trying to, stay in the lines of a coloring book, but then kind of going on the outside by accident. This is how I feel about Punk's promos lately. Usually they're sharp, they're interesting, they're fired up. But now it just kind of feels like he's trying to stay in the lines, but is having a tough time with it. And it's something he needs to work on, honestly. Like, he was one of the greatest talkers of my generation. Now he kind of sounds like me on this video. Just rambling, trying to get a cohesive thought together. But ultimately failing. Anyway, we go backstage to a Judgment Day promo where it's pretty much just Liv and Dom. They say, if you think you have a chance against us, you're out of your mind. It's us that put you on top like it should be. And we don't want to wait. Priest, why don't we leave our pals in the back and you go one-on-one with me later? I honestly thought he said next week, but apparently it's this. So, get that interesting match coming up. Although, no spoilers here. Anyway, next matchup, we got a 6-man tag team match playa as the New Day and Odyssey Jones, with Odyssey Jones coming out to New Day's music, which is very, very interesting. I don't think we've even heard Odyssey Jones's music on the main roster. Personally, I don't know what it sounds like because I never really watched NXT post 2.0, which it is definitely a long time. But anyway, match, we got the Karrion Kross and the AOP of the Final Testament. And this match was definitely interesting, not just because of the action itself, but Kofi and Odyssey's interactions with Xavier Woods. Because Woods starts the match up against Kross, they kind of circle each other, and then when Woods circles back to his own corner, Kofi with the blind tag. Huh. Yeah, that's interesting. Then everyone pretty much comes in, tags in, gets their stuff in. Kross with an insane Uranagi. Actually, no, it's here at the end, Kofi hits a Trouble in Paradise. Kross with a big old suplex into the in which, when he's down on the suplex, Woods with the Limit Break elbow drop, in which that's a great name for an elbow drop. And then Odyssey Jones with the Black Hole Slam to pick up the win for his team. So, yeah, we're definitely getting some nice interactions with Kofi and Woods. Yeah, looks like the New Day's gonna break up, which is very interesting. Now, if it were me, I think I'd have Kofi and Jones turn heel. Don't get me wrong, Woods would be fantastic as a heel. I think he's getting a little bit more sympathy, though. Like, it's Kofi and Odyssey trying to push Woods out, it's feeling like. But anyway, cut to backstage. We, of course, see Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, aka the Terror Twins. They're kind of pacing around backstage with Priest saying, "Look, I believe in you, but I'm not blind. Of course it's going to be a trap, but if I get my hands on Dom, it'll be worth it. And we won't stop until we pass judgment on the Judgment Day." Great line. Great little line from these two. Then we get another tribute to Wild Samoan Alpha. May he rest in peace. he and Sika are tearing up in the tag division up in heaven. That's for sure. Anyway, we see The Miz backstage. He's kind of walking around. Then Adam Pearce walks in. He says, no, they're in Gorilla, actually. So Pearce asked Miz, Reed only wants to hurt people. The only way I'm sending you out there is if you really want it. Then Miz says, no, I don't want it. But he took out my best friend, R-Truth. I have to do this. So then he walks out to his music. So apparently we got a no disqualification match between The Miz and Bronson Reed. And let me just say, the motivation behind this match, that's great. That's awesome. It's thoughtful, it's good, and it's not just another random match on the card. And The Miz starts off white hot, including grabbing a chair, hitting some chair shots. Although eventually Reed does fight back. Hits a nasty looking DDT onto the chair. Reed tries for a Death Valley driver, but Miz gets out of it. Hits a couple big boots, corner clothesline. Tries for a sunset flip powerbomb, but that gets blocked. Goes for the skull crushing finale, again countered. Reed then hits a Death Valley driver through the table and finishes The Miz off with one big tsunami for the win. Then Reed, he's going back up, goes for his tsunami again. Out comes Braun Strowman to make the save. And honestly, it's about dang time Strowman gets something a little bit more significant. As now we're going to be getting King Kong versus Godzilla. Couple big meaty men slapping meat. Let's do it. And apparently that match is going down on Monday. Can't wait for that one. And we see Sheamus. He's doing an interview. He's doing backstage interview saying, my hands are in bits right now, but I don't beat around the bush. I put on a banger tonight with Dunn. And then Ludwig Kaiser walks in. Interviewer walks off. Says, first Kaiser says to the interviewer, says, why are you talking to this curtain jerker? Why not talk to someone who's in the main event? Then Sheamus asks the interviewer to give us a second. She walks off. Then Kaiser reveals, after I'm done tonight with Randy Orton, I'm coming back after you and settling this. Sheamus then replies, I'm not injured enough anyway. Anytime you want to finish this trilogy, I'm in. So, yeah, Sheamus Kaiser trilogy, I'm good with that. Shouldn't use a stipulation though, something fun. Then we get a Braun Breaker interview. Pretty much says, it's a good thing I went to school because I'm highly educated. Next week, WWE is starting a tournament to find my next challenger for the Intercontinental title. Pierce wants to slow me the heck down. It's not my fault. I'm a genetic freak. Taking a line from his uncle. Oh, that's good. It's not my fault. I've earned this, pointing to his title. To the poor soul who wins this tournament, I'm going to give you a beating of a lifetime, and that'll be my fault. I am loving the presentation of Braun Breaker right now. And even giving him little Steinerisms. Speaking of Steinerisms, WWE one time Have him do some Steiner math. That'll give him a big pop. That'll be great. Anyway, we go to our next match. We got Dominic in the ring. Priest is making his entrance. Then out comes the rest of Judgment Day, in which Priest fights off for a little bit. Priest is about to hit a South of Heaven on Finn Balor, but JD McDonough saves him. Then JD and Finn with super kicks. And then a beatdown happens because it's 4-on-1. Rhea comes out, gets behind Dom. Headbutt, little strike from Priest. Then Rhea goes over the top rope. She's about to clear off the announce table. Out comes Liv Morgan to save Dominic Mysterio from the Riptide. And while that beatdown is happening on the inside, rest of Judgment Day are taking out Priest. Liv Morgan with Carlito with a backstabber to Priest. Then they bring Priest over to ringside, to the area of the ring that's by the announce table, and just kind of hold him there. As Liv beats down on Rhea Ripley. Back in the ring, we have, rest of Judgment Day stomping out Damian Priest. Balor goes up, hits a coup de grace. Liv Morgan, who gets Rhea in the ring, hits an Oblivion. And then Dom with a big old frog splash. So, yeah, it's about time Judgment Day show a little dominance. And, yeah, that was definitely a lot of fun. It's something Judgment Day has needed since they kicked both Rhea and Priest out of the group. So, yeah, we'll see. So then we see a commercial. We get Judgment Day there backstage with Balor saying, "Hey guys, that was just a sample of what's to come at Bash in Berlin. Damian was champ because of us. Now he's not because of us. And Rhea, I'm going to make you my bitch." Ooh, some fighting words from the Judgment Day. It's going to be interesting to see if Rhea and Priest try to recruit someone for their group, because they are way outnumbered. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. I guess we'll see. And we get a triple threat tag team match for the women's tag titles. We got Damage Control being represented by Io Sky and Kairi Sane. The champs of the Unholy Union, that's Ela Dawn and the Alba Fire. And Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark of the Pure Fusion Collective, which is the dumbest name in pro wrestling history. And this match starts kind of basic. It never feels like it kicks into another gear. You know what I mean? It kind of feels like it's stuck in first. They definitely do some cool things, like Shayna getting a Karafuda clutch, but Io hitting a dive to break it up. Sane tries for an insane elbow, but Dawn gets her knees up. Then Fire and Dawn hit a backstabber senton combination to pick up the win. That move definitely needs a name. Hopefully it's something interesting. Then we see Imperium backstage. That's Gunther and Kaiser. They're just kind of talking. Never really hear what they say. Then we see Randy Orton in another part of the backstage area. He's wrapping his wrist tape up, getting ready for that main event. Then we see Jey Uso backstage interview. He's more in the locker room area. Pretty much says, look, Sami Zayn had to take some time off after his match with Breakker. But now, just because he's hurt, I'm going to refocus my attention to the Intercontinental title. I'm going to step up. And I'm going to put my name into the tournament. I'm going to have Intercontinental Gold. So, nice to have Jay refocus on some singles action. I don't think anyone's beaten Braun Breaker for this title anytime soon. But tournament is always fun. Then we see some Pat McAfee highlights from the past year. He's going on hiatus. He's probably not doing so much announcing for Raw for a while. At least until January 1st when they're on Netflix. Which I can't believe that's close to happening. So this was a nice goodbye to Pat McAfee. He's going to be doing College Football Game Day. Which actually starts tomorrow. Which is very interesting. I'm going to try to tune into that. And then it's also revealed guest picker is Sheamus. Which, good to see some crossover there. And now we make it to our main event. As it's the Viper Randy Orton against Ludwig Kaiser. And this match was actually a lot of fun. Kaiser goes for his usual stuff, including that nasty drop kick into the ring steps. Although he goes to it one too many times as Orton hits a power slam on him to counter it. Gets him back in the ring. Goes for the draping DDT, which is, Kaiser's feet are in the ropes. Goes straight down. That gets countered into a cutter, which, that was impressive. Eventually, Randy Orton does get that DDT. It's all set up for the RKO. Tries to hit it. Kaiser pushes him off. Roll up. 1, 2, 2. Randy Orton gets up. RKO. And picks up the win. And of course, this brings out Gunther to the ring. They stare down for a minute. And they finish up Raw. The nice little brawl. Yeah, this Raw was definitely a lot better than I thought it would be. Only really down was the Maxine Dupree Ivy Nile match, which, I do wish there was more of a significant finish to that other than just the Wyatts. But I do understand why they're out there. So, that was Raw. Very fun, interesting show. Building to Bash in Berlin. Next up, we have NWA Power, which, again, definitely a very weird mixed bag. We start with a Gacy Kazana EC3 hype video, which that's going to be our main event. And, I'll talk to you about that one. But we start off with the junior heavyweight title on the line. We got Ronaldo Friedman. We have Eric Smalls. We got the debuting Soda Pop Hendrix. I don't think I've ever seen this guy before. And they're all challenging Joe Alonzo. And of course, Ronaldo and Smalls get into it right away. So that just leaves Soda Pop and Joe Alonzo to fight for a while. Eventually, everyone gets back in. Eric Smalls with a little bit of a low blow. About midway through, Joe Alonzo goes for the brainbuster on Ronaldo, but that gets countered into a roll-up for only a 2. That sets up Eric Smalls for a couple of corner Bronco busters, which that was impressive. And then hitting a middle rope moonsault, which I will say, I underestimated Eric Smalls. Never will again. He then attempts a worm, which outside WWE, I don't think I've seen that. Immediately, Joe Alonzo hits the Joey Special and picks up the win. definitely an interesting four-way. I do wish it had a teeny tiny bit more time, but it was still very entertaining, very fast-paced, and yeah, it was fun. We then go to this next match, as it's Jax Dane, the Dane event, taking on Anthony Quintera, making his NWA debut. And yeah, this was a fun one. Jax Dane knocks Anthony to the outside where Baron Von Storm is, and the Baron threatens him with the Iron Claw, which is... I am so kind of tickled that they're selling the Iron Claw as this like really dangerous move now, because it's just funny. It's a weird move, but I dig it. Anyway, going back into this match, a lot of really good stuff from both sides. A lot of back and forth. Eventually, Jax Dane hits a pop the trunk, which is kind of a Steiner line if you really look at it. Then gets him in Trap City, aka the Cobra Clutch, to pick up the submission win. Jax Dane, I think, definitely needed this win. Hopefully, we get to see him go for one of the major titles. Maybe we see Jax Dane versus Max the Impaler. I would not mind that. Anyway, then we go to a promo from the Page sisters. That's Kylie and Kenzie Page. Pretty much saying, look, we are now promoters. KFW coming to NWA as a territory. This promotion produces champions, much like us. We're going to step over Tiffany and Rekka. We're going to set the standard of the NWA by becoming the first double champion in women's history. And yeah, nice short and sweet promo from the Page sisters. We then go to a ringside interview from Rekka Tahaka and Tiffany Nieves, with Tiffany pretty much taking the lead, saying, you think you can take over through us? It doesn't get stuck in the past. We have the future, and I have a monster. And then Rekka takes over, pretty much saying, Rekka is here. Recognize we are what we are made of. And she makes a weird noise that I do not know how to identify. We then get the next Only Slams vignette, in which I am wondering what this is going to be. They keep mentioning a he, a him, whatever it is. If this is going to be some weird debut, it's going to be interesting. Next up, we got Baron Von Storm taking on Boz, who apparently has wrestled for the NWA before. I guess I must have missed that episode. But this match was pretty much a hoss fight from the beginning, including Baron Von Storm teasing the Iron Claw again. They get into it. Boz tries for a big old cross body that misses. Baron Von Storm with an airplane spin, pretty much right into the Iron Claw. Forces Boz down for the pinfall victory. And of course, Baron Von Storm doesn't let go of the claw post-match, so Jax Dane goes to the ringside area, grabs Storm's entrance jacket, gets in the ring, places it over Storm's head, and then Baron Von Storm lets go of the claw. So, yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting to see where this storyline goes. Then we get this weird hype video from the Page sisters, Rekka Tahaka and Tiffany Nieves, which was the promo and the interview both did early on in the show. which was very, very strange. I don't know. I feel like that could have been saved for next week's opening for Power. But yeah, that was very weird. Like, I don't get that. Anyway. So then we go to a Magic Jake DeMoss and the kids interview. Where Jake puts Mims to the side. Pretty much says, Carson Drake, you made one fatal mistake. You've never had hard times. I was born in the shape of a grave. NWA cooked up the disasters for you. Then it's the kids' turn. They pretty much say, look, we can see you have some issues you need to work out, but we don't need magic to burn Slimeball City to the ground. We play by our own rules, and we're going to win. So we are getting a 6-man tag between these teams next week. Should be a pretty fun one. And then we go to our main event, and it's for the 10 pounds of gold, a.k.a. the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, as it's KC Kazana, the younger of the Kazana boys, taking on EC3. And I will tell you, KC brought it tonight. Like, he pulled out all the stops, including countering a 1%er at one point. He fights out of a sleeper. He hits an insane tornado DDT off the top. Goes for a splash. Misses. Goes for a crossbody. Whiffs. EC3 with a 1%er. And that picks up the win. Honestly, this was a really, really good matchup. If I have to pick one match from these shows, I'd say go watch this one. This one was awesome. And post-match, while EC3 has his title, he goes over to KC and they shake hands. What a main event. That was so dang good. NWA was a lot better this week. Like, it was a little off last week, but this week I think they're locked back in. They're ready for Tour of the Territories or whatever that show is called coming up. They're locked in. They're ready to go. So that just leaves us with AEW Dynamite. And it's the go-home show to Sunday's All In. And, oh boy, Wembley, we got some stuff going down. As we start off with a contract signing for the TBS title. Not for the women's title, but for the TBS title. As we got Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, coming out, along with Mercedes Moné and Camille. And it's revealed by Tony Schiavone, who is moderating, that there is a no contact clause between the two. That'll be important for a little bit. The Monet says, let's get to it. Insert random name city here. Say hello to your CEO. And Baker, when I make you tap on Sunday, you're the past and I'm the future. Then Monet signs. Dr. Britt Baker gets on the mic. She says, that's cute. Say whatever you want. Because last year at All In, you sat in the audience. Before CEO, there was DMD. And then Monet gets back on the mic, says, that makes me sick, Britt. And I only liked you because they see themselves in you. You won't beat me. Because you want to know who my biggest fan is? It's you. This is your dream match. I inspired you. Are you really all in? Dr. Britt Baker then responds, I'm all in at 10. You put women's wrestling on the map, but you're never going to be like me. You won't beat me. You don't have the guts, the heart. I have the guts, the heart, and the balls. There is no plan B with me. I got 2 plan A's. Because she actually is a dentist. Like, that is... I keep forgetting that she actually has a... Dr. Britt Baker has a day job. And she's good at that, too. Just ask Adam Cole, baby. Anyway, Dr. Baker then continues, I'm one of one, and I'm the baddest bitch on the block. I admired you. You walked so we could run, but you can never be the foundation of promotions like AEW. I made a difference. That person who we saw early on is gone. You only care about the money. I don't know where that girl went, but I hope you find her fast, because that's the girl I want to beat. Alright, interesting. Now with you, I'm obviously going to follow the rules. I'm not going to hit you. But her, she's pissing me off. So Dr. Britt Baker hits Camille in the head with the microphone. She then goes back up. Camille then sits on Monet for whatever reason. Crossbody to duel them in the chair. And then Dr. Britt Baker goes back to the table, signs the contract. So we are on for All In. And honestly, that contract signing, it did get chaotic, but it was really creative. Like, instead of going directly for Monet, Britt Baker kind of used Camille as a weapon, which is awesome. That's very creative. I don't think I've ever seen that before, unless WWE did that with, like, Randy Orton versus Evolution. But, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything done like that before. We then go immediately into the Buzzkill, as it's a Chris Jericho interview. He says, there's something been bothering me since I got to Wales, England. Birmingham. No, where are they? See, I'm blowing to Chris Jericho now. Anyway, Tommy Billington, you call yourself the Dynamite Kid. What gives you the right? Are you as good as your uncle? You have no right on the Dynamite name. You have to prove yourself. And Hook, I hope you're watching, because this is a big preview for you to what's going down at Wembley. So then we get into this next matchup, as it's Chris Jericho taking on Dynamite Kid, Tommy Billington. And before I get started, do y'all remember, I don't know if you guys remember or not, Tommy in MLW was in a tag team with, I think, Mark? What happened to him? Can anyone tell me? I miss seeing that tag team. Anyway, so this matchup was pretty much Tommy starting us off. He was pretty much dominating Chris Jericho until Brian Keith grabs Tommy, and then Big Bill tosses him into the ring post, with Jericho distracting the ref, tossing him back in. Jericho on the warpath for a bit, hits a lion salt, only for a 2. Tommy then blocking a suplex, hitting one of his own for a 2. Tommy goes for a suplex of his own, but then Jericho kind of awkwardly gets into the walls of Jericho. Eventually, Tommy gets in the ropes. It's a suplex and a pile driver on Jericho. Goes up top, looks ringside, takes out Brian Keith, and Big Bill tries to attack him, but Tommy ducks it. Gets in the ring, hits a big old diving headbutt, but Jericho gets the knees up. Jericho went then with the Codebreaker to get the win. This was definitely an interesting matchup because Tommy Tommy Burlington definitely showed out this time. Like, that was a great showcase for him. Hopefully we can get maybe someone a little bit more talented than Jericho to go against him in the future. Then Chris Jericho gets a microphone, because of course we do. Pretty much says, Hook, you look like a stupid bastard. Did you see what happened here? I'm going to do this to you at All In. If you were here in the ring, I'd rip you branch by branch by branch. Then, of course, Hook signal up, Hook music hits. He comes down, takes out Big Bill. Goes straight for Chris Jericho, but Big Bill attacks him from behind. And then hits a big old choke slam on Hook, where the learning tree can stand over him. So, yeah, Hook definitely has his work cut out from him. Hopefully we see something decent at All In. And then we get to this really strange match, as it's for the AEW Women's title, as Timeless Toni Storm defends against Saraya. Now, if we remember, go back to All In last year, Toni Storm at least competed for the women's title at All In. She thought it was hers. Saraya picked up the win. And because of that, we started on this path on the Timeless gimmick. So we can kind of thank Saraya for kickstarting this. Anyway, this match was very, very awkward. At one point, we see Toni kind of holding Saraya's arms off and then, like, clearly just falling short of some kicks. Yeah, this was very weird. Couple of lip locks, too, which, okay. Toni Storm with a sky high, only picking up a 2. And as Toni Storm is kissing Harley Cameron, Saraya goes for a roll-up, only for a 2. Toni Storm with a 0 for the victory. Yeah, this was just a very awkward matchup. I know Saraya's contract expiring kind of soon, so I don't know if this was a farewell to Saraya or what this was supposed to be, but this was not a fluid match. Like, maybe Saraya was just rusty or something. I don't know. Something's off. Then, as Toni Storm is celebrating, Mariah May is out and attacks Toni Storm from behind with a heel. Then Mariah May gets down on the ground and kind of nuzzles her like she used to when they were teammates. So, yeah, this match is definitely getting a bit more heated. I can't wait for that match. That match is going to be awesome. Then we get a weird conglomeration interview. Saying how Orange Cassidy took a big time ass whooping from their match on Collision. We're now in Wales. Undisputed Kingdom and the conglomeration. We're going to see you on Collision. And, yeah, Mark Briscoe talks way too fast for me. Sometimes I can't even process what he's saying. So, I'm glad I got the important bits. And then we go to this face-to-face between Will Ospreay and MJF. Then Ospreay, which crowd is going nuts for Ospreay, which that's interesting. He said, "Why don't we give Max a warm welcome?" Boo! Big old boos for MJF. Then Ospreay says, "It's unusual for a Brit to be this loved in Wales," in which I don't know that whole rivalry. I guess it's football related. But, yeah, that's definitely interesting. Will Ospreay then says, "Sunday is about cleaning up the mess you made here. Call me Barry Scott. Bang, and the dirt is gone. So I learned a little something about that. Apparently Barry Scott is like a salesman for cleaning supplies, and that's his catchphrase. So that's very funny. I like stuff like that. MJF then says, "Clean up my mess. I packed arenas. I've changed. I've had bigger reactions twice as loud as yours. And unlike you, I didn't need to be the flip version to get the job done. Did you know why I came back so early from injury? You know why? Because Brass begged me to come back at AEW. Brass from AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery to clean up your mess. Call me arrogant if you want to. Look in the mirror, you bellend." MJF using that word. That's interesting. William Ospreay then gets back on the mic. He says, "I heard about a promotion that puts wrestling first. I turned on the channel to see you as world champion and laughed. And the joke went on for too long. No one talked about the main event of All In as an epic clash, but two friends jerking each other off." That's a way to put it. And I'm here to remind people what professionalism is and put on a great match. When they cannot rely on their world champion to. MJF then replies, "Y'all needed entertainment, but this is about being the alternative. Restore the feeling because, bruh, I am the feeling." Oh, that was Will. My mistake. MJF replies, "Out of everything that came out of your mouth, one thing's right. I don't care about catering to them. I care about winning. And I actually believe Tony, while I was out of the company, would be safe in your hands. Who the hell are you? Everyone knows who MJF is. They love MJF. I'm the best wrestler on the planet. So who told you you were the best? These people? That's so sad. These people know nothing about wrestling because they, like your wrestling. I'm the youngest and the longest reigning AEW champion of all time. I've main evented and won the main event of All In last year. You got one move in the chamber that can beat me, but not man enough to pull the trigger. Feel all you want. I'm the facts, and they don't care about feelings." Will Ospreay then retorts, "Facts can be rewritten, feelings can't. Go all over Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, US, and ask them who they think the best wrestler is. They'll say Will Ospreay. And that is why I cannot lose. And I know why you don't like me. You let everyone down. Then MJF interrupted and screamed, "They liked me until you came along." Then MJF regains his composure, says, "You're right. I cannot be like you, man. Every way I've failed, you've succeeded. Before the show, I spent a little time with your wife and so-called kid. The kid of a previous relationship. And after a conversation with your wife, your next kid won't be yours either." So, a little bit of a low blow from MJF, but overall the promo battle was great. Anyway, so Will Ospreay then goes over to see Tony Schiavone. He says, "Get TK on. how much of a fine to hit MJF? It's revealed it's 1 pound 27. Will Ospreay calculates worth it, and Will Ospreay starts beating down MJF. Security comes out, tries to break it up. Ospreay fights them off. Then as he turns back to MJF, he has the Dynamite Diamond ring on. Big old KO punch. Then a couple punches continue. You see Will Ospreay bloodied into a brainbuster. And then MJF mocks a pinfall. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Then MJF picks up Will Ospreay, goes to hit a Tiger Driver, but one lone security guard grabs him by the waist and pushes him into the corner. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting little finale. We'll see who wins Sunday. We then get a Hangman Adam Page interview. Says, I did what I had to do. I'm in the Casino Gauntlet match, and I'm going to beat everyone who gets in my way. In which Evil Uno comes in, and, they were associates at one time. With Evil Uno revealing he's going to be in the Casino Gauntlet match. Then as he's talking, Hangman gets a chair from off screen and starts whipping Evil Uno with it. He then gets back on the microphone and says, it's clear as day. I don't care who you are. If you're in my way, I'll take you out. I am loving heel Hangman. Hangman needed this bounce back in the worst way possible. This is great. We then go to our next match, which is again a championship match. It's for the Continental title as Claudio Castagnoli challenges Kazuchika Okada. And oh boy, they beat Seven Shades of BAM at one another. Including counters of each other's finishers, plenty of uppercuts by Claudio. One point, Claudio has Okada in the giant swing, which is awesome to see. Okada tries for the Rainmaker, misses. Claudio tries for the Ricola Bomb. That gets countered into a neckbreaker. Then it's revealed. 1 minute remaining. 1 minute. So both guys push it into overdrive. They're trying to hit big move after big move. But as Claudio hits a double stomp, goes into a pinfall. 1, 2, ding, 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 ding. Time limit has been reached. It is called a draw. And still your Continental Champion, Okada. And as Okada's celebrating, out comes the Young Bucks and Jack Perry. With them saying, look, that was a great match, Claudio. But I gotta ask you this, guys, this. Should they go for 5 more minutes? Crowd is reacting, they're hyped. Claudio puts his mouth guard back in, looks like he's about to fight. Then it's revealed, it's not gonna happen. So, contract Okada signed when he won this title was he'd wrestle for 20 minutes, not 25. And as we're a stickler for the rules, Claudio, maybe you'll get another shot next time. So we're going to ask you nicely now to leave the ring. We've got a match going on. And if you don't, we'll have to physically remove you from the ring. So Claudio gets in a fighting stance. Everybody, the entire elite, surrounds him. And then out comes Darby Allin and FTR, the opponents for the elite tonight. And they start brawling, including Okada and Claudio brawling to the back. And yeah, we get this 6-man tag matchup, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It's a great little 6-man tag, especially with Darby in there. Darby is kind of an X factor, and I absolutely love it. Darby with a Code Red into a Scorpion Death Drop, which Darby bringing the stick moves. Okay, maybe that's a little tease of something coming. Young Bucks try to get out of it, but that gets countered into a Shatter Machine, a Superplex Splash combination, and Darby Allin capping it off with the Coffin Drop to pick up the win for his team. So now we got the Elite. They're running a little scared through the crowd. Out comes the Acclaimed, and they're kind of on the ramp while FTR are in the ring. Then we got Caster saying, "It's Philly night, royalty are here, FTR dance jesters, and the Princess Bucks. We're the kings of tag team wrestling. You two are two of the best teams in the world. You two couldn't beat us on your best day. And it's going to happen again on Sunday. So we would love to come down and beat you down right now. But we've got nothing more to prove. We're going to fight on Sunday, we're going to fight until we're champions again." So, definitely some nice hype for that triple threat match. That should be a fun one. Then we get Will Ospreay. He's kind of still bloodied from the match he had. Interviewer comes in, but before she get a word out, Bryan Danielson comes in, says to Ospreay, "Look at me. Look at me. Do it." And walks off. Pretty much giving his stamp of approval for Ospreay to hit a Tiger Driver on MJF. So yeah, that's a nice little bit of storytelling. I love that. It's short, it's sweet, but it gets the point across. That's gonna be awesome. So that's that. Then we get the final showdown between Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson, with Swerve coming out first. And he says, "Already been said, I'm the most dangerous man here in AEW because of the pain I not only endured, but inflicted. I'll make you a list of my victims: Hangman Adam Page twice, Jay White, Takeshita, Samoa Joe, Claudio Castagnoli, Christian Cage, and Will Ospreay. And the disrespect you show Danielson is head to toe. And at Wembley, I'm going to make you hurt from head to toe." Oh, I'm not done yet. I do appreciate Danielson. We got 2 Washington State wrestlers in the main event, but the disrespect you showed, you're ready for retirement. You're going to try and take that from me. Danielson, I'm taking it from you. I'm going to make sure you're not capable of getting back in the ring. But by some miracle, you're good after All In. We can go again. You could do some independent shows in Seattle. You're going to try to wrestle without me knowing. I'll beat you down. You're going to wear a mask in Arena Mexico. I'll find you. Feel it. And if for whatever reason you start feeling it, you're going to try to discuss it with your family. Guess where I'm coming. Then Danielson's music hits. He gets right in the ring. It's a big old Busaiku knee to Swerve. Swerve rolls out of the ring. Danielson gets back on the microphone, says, "Confused. I don't know. I don't come out and talk about myself. I know who I am. This is my truth. I'm the best wrestler in the world. I have been the best for the last 20 years. And I think you can say you can beat and cripple me at All In for the fans, for my peers, for my family. You're going to have to kill me because I'm going to leave my soul here in this ring. And tonight has been a lot of talking and fighting. But one more question. Can Danielson beat Swerve for the title? And they do the proper yes chant. Finishing like that hurts my heart. I love Danielson. Danielson is easily one of my favorite wrestlers, maybe of all time. But I don't know if I see him beating Swerve. I guess we'll see Sunday. Like, this was a really, really good episode of Dynamite. A lot of talking, which is usually really rare for AEW. But there was more than enough action to satiate my appetite. So, yeah, that'll do it for me. I hope you all enjoyed. Coming Monday will be the review for SmackDown, Rampage, and Collision. Although, we'll see if I see all of those. I probably will. Including my recap of the winners for All In. And, later on in the week, on Friday, I'm actually going away. So, my review for the earlier shows for Raw, Power, and Dynamite will be on Thursday. And then on Wednesday, I'll do my predictions for Bash in Berlin, in which I probably won't be there to watch it, so maybe like Monday or Tuesday I'll watch that, and then give my review later on in the week. So, that will do it from me. I hope you all enjoyed. Please tune in to my next video to see what happens. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.